Oh, the music's over. What's up, everyone? Good to see you again. Here we are. Guess what time it is? It's time to stream. That's enough music. How are you doing? Good to see everybody. I know we saw each other precisely a week ago, but life has been so crazy since the last time we streamed. I honestly feel like it was a month ago. So I'm really good to see you all. Really happy to be going live today. I'm really sorry that we didn't game stream on Friday. I have a funny story to tell. I have a little bit of story time before we get started, so let's wait just a couple of minutes and I'm going to get started on my story. The story has to do with school because I'm just starting school. I decided to go back to school. I'm 36, by the way. I'm 36. I don't know if you know this, but like I'm not old, but I'm older. So I decided to go back to college. And it's just starting. So I kind of have a funny story to tell about that. But first, let me see what's going on in the chat and who's here. I see MC Heavyset. Good to see you. I see Cassie. Love you so much, Cassie. Cassie is our beautiful moderator here in the chat, making sure that the chat is chill and nobody's being a jackass. So, please show Cassie some respect, okay? Spectral Chord. Hey, Specs, good to see you. Heretical Response. Very good to see you. I see Gabe. What's up, Gabe? Gabe Crower. I think that's how you pronounce that. Crower? Kind of like sauerkraut. Crower. I'm not saying you're sour. I'm just thinking about kraut. I love sauerkraut, by the way. If you want to know something weird about me, you could give me a jar of sauerkraut and a spoon, actually a fork, because a fork would be more preferable. You could give me a jar of sauerkraut and a fork, and I would eat the whole fucking thing. I love sauerkraut that much. I don't know why I'm comparing your name to kraut. Anyways. So yeah, MC Heavyset, Specs, Heretical Response, Buddy Friendo. What's up, Buddy Friendo? What's up, Friendo? Good to see you. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Yeah, we didn't get to stream Friday, but I hope you all had a good weekend. Okay, so are we ready for story time? Put some demons in the chat if you're ready for story time. Macrimonious, good to see you. All right, demons in the chat if you're ready for Jan's story time. Jan's story time. Mac says, it's macrimonious, but I say Mac. So Mac says sauerkraut is excellent. Love making homemade purple kraut. God damn, I love purple kraut. I've made sauerkraut too, actually. I would love to make another batch. Sauerkraut is really easy to make. You just have to have patience and let it age. You have to do it right and let it age well. And I swear to God, it's better. I don't know, like real sauerkraut is more salty. It's not like vinegar. It's not like putting cabbage in vinegar. Like real sauerkraut is aged with like salt. And it's similar, but it's not quite the same. So you can tell if it's like genuine sauerkraut. If it's genuine sauerkraut, it's a little bit more salty, salt based. If it's not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that sauerkraut that's not homemade is bad. It's more like cabbage put in vinegar, and it's still good. I'll eat the shit out of it. But I love homemade sauerkraut. And also, it's one of the cheapest ways to get probiotics in your belly. Like making sauerkraut and letting it age and being patient, like, and eating some of that, like a little bit every day and sipping some brine. Yeah, that's the word. So you have to like brine cabbage to make true sauerkraut. You can't just pickle it in vinegar. But brined cabbage, which is like sauerkraut, like if you make it the true way, which I mean, like, what does it cost for a ball of cabbage? Okay, even if you live in a part of like the United States where cabbage is like, you pay like $5 for a bowl of cabbage. That's insane, first of all. But even that, it's like, you can make genuine sauerkraut, and it's a very good cheap source to get probiotics in your tummy. It's very good for your gut health. Unless you have some like gut health issues where it's not good, then obviously it's not. I am an extreme fan of sauerkraut. And also the fact that you mentioned purple kraut, Specs. Oh no, not Specs. Sorry. Macrimonious. The fact that you said purple kraut makes me extra excited. I know it seems like a weird vegetable to really like, but I love purple cabbage. Like, even if I'm not eating it brined, I love purple cabbage because it's a very, like, nutty sort of thing. Like, I don't know. Who else likes purple cabbage? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you like purple cabbage. In any form. I think purple cabbage is great. I love purple cabbage. You want purple kraut? I thought, you know what? I made a joke once, like, because as a content creator on YouTube, like, I'm a YouTuber, so it's like, I've joked about, like, making sauerkraut as, like, a way to get people to subscribe to me. It's like, hey, subscribe, I'll make some kraut. I'll send you some kraut, okay? I'll make some kraut. You want purple kraut? Subscribe. Get your purple kraut right here. Oh, heretical response mentioned Swiss chard. I like Swiss chard. Have you tried rainbow chard? That's really good too. Chard's good. Hi, Mark. Mark is another one of our amazing moderators. Please show Mark respect. Lucifer, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. And Brent, good to see you as well. So, okay, my lovelies, I have a little bit of story time before we get started into our subjects. So I'm going to talk about story time. Story time has to do with me starting college again. So my first week of college, story time. And then the topics today, we're going to cover Trump. I mean, it's getting election season. It's going to be very politically heavy until we get the new president. We're going to talk about Trump and he has like new trading cards that also double as like NFTs, like cryptocurrency. And he also went batshit insane on Truth Social, which is his special little echo chamber of a social media platform. And then we're going to talk about Mark Shkreli. Remember the pharma bro, the guy with like the most punchable face ever. Like, I guess he's coming back up again, and we're just gonna talk about that. So it's not too heavy today. It's mostly reactions, and honestly, it's because like I just really have not had much time to prepare today for the topic, so I don't really have much to offer other than like my first impressions of the situation. Let me get this microphone closer. So, anyways, all right, let's get into story time. So, if you don't know, I've been Neogenian and into this whole system for almost 10 years. Not quite 10 years, but, you know, a while. And in my experience of being a Neogenian, it's been a lot of education. You know I've learned about a lot of stuff, a lot of philosophical terminology and vocabulary and all that. You know, like if some of you go to, there's a YouTube creator called Morg Official. So like if you've been to their channel, you know that it's very educational. And I've gotten a lot of education from that. But it's come to the point in my life where I'm like, I want to go back to college. I'm 36. Okay, I've been out of school for over a decade. I have taken some college classes, but they're art focused. Like I took some photography classes, so nothing really academic. Anyways, I decided to go back to college. And I just started. And it started not this week, but last week. And that's the funny part of the story. So, I signed up for college like months ago. And for some reason, I completely missed the first week of school. It is the stupidest, dumbest thing ever that I've ever done in my life. No, I'm exaggerating on that, but it feels like that in the moment. So what happened was, is I got it set in my head that this week, like this last Monday, was the first week of school. Well, it turns out it was actually last week. And I found that out because I was not receiving any emails or notification that school was starting or anything like that. And because I signed up for school months ago, the start date completely like escaped me. And for some reason, subconsciously, I programmed it in my head that it was supposed to start, let's see, on the 26th, like last Monday, like the 26th. And that wasn't the case. So I started going around my emails. I'm like, it's Friday. Like, isn't school supposed to start? Shouldn't I have any like notifications or anything about school? Especially because 2 of my classes are in person and 2 of them are online. So I thought, like, surely I should be getting some like notification from the online classes about like school starting and all that stuff. Well, okay, so this is Friday that I'm looking this up before the weekend. And I'm like, I'm not hearing anything. I had to do a cold, hard search. Like, nobody was emailing me or notifying me of this information. I did a cold, hard search. Like, how do you get into the online school portion of the school I'm attending? And I finally got signed up into that. I got set up and I'm like, okay, that's weird. I never got any like notification or email to tell me to sign up for this shit. Or if I did, it's been like so long forgotten. So I signed into this program. It's called Coursera. And when I signed in there, I saw these notifications that's like, you already missed an assignment. You already got docked on participation. You already missed this, missed that. And I'm just like, I lost my fucking mind on Friday. I was like, what the fuck happened? How did I mess it up so bad that I missed the first week of school? And on top of that, the two, like I said, I have 4 classes. 2 are in person, 2 are online. The 2 online classes dropped me before I even got into them. And then in the in-person class, one of the in-person classes, they're like, you already docked participation points by not showing up to class. So what I did is I emailed all of the professors and my school counselor, and I was like, holy shit, I am so sorry. I don't know how I fucked that up. Please let me back into the class. So long story short, on that part, I was able to get back into the classes. However, when I was supposed to stream last Friday, do game streaming, I'm just finding all of this out. So I sent out a memo to you all saying like, hey, I gotta scramble and catch up with school because, everything's crazy right now. So, this last Saturday, all of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I had to go to class in the morning and then work. And now it's Wednesday. So let's see. I had to spend all that time scrambling and catching up with homework. So Saturday, I spent seriously, and I'm not even kidding, and I'm not exaggerating this, 9 fucking hours catching up with the math course. Sunday, I spent another, I think, like 6 to 7 hours catching up with the other courses, the sociology course. Monday, another 6 solid hours catching up with homework just to like catch up with the stupid fucking week that I missed. God. So I'm caught up right now. Like as of today, I am caught up, but it was such a silly thing, right? It's like, here I am, so excited for school. How the hell did I subconsciously program it in my brain that I started school this week and not last week? I don't know. But at this point, it's kind of just like, I can't dwell on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's embarrassing for sure. It's definitely embarrassing, but, I got to get to work. So, long story short, because when I started this stream, I told you all, like, even though I streamed last Wednesday, I feel like I haven't seen you all in 2 months. I have been plugging in so many fucking hours of studying that I feel like I've just, like, transcended space and time and I've been in another place. So let's see. I got 4 classes going on right now. I have a English class, which is a basic college comprehension class, a lot of writing, essay writing. I'm in Sociology 101, so the first sociology class. I'm taking statistical math, so my math class is in statistics. And then I'm taking a Western world history class, which, funny enough, doesn't actually start till September 17th. And what I read about the... oh, shit, I dropped shit. Hold on. So when I was reading up on the history class, it doesn't start till September 11th. Wait, 11th? No, 17th, not the 11th. Yeah, so it's a lecture class. So I'm gonna start it then. So yeah, Western world history, statistical math, college comprehension, and sociology 101 is what I'm taking right now. And I am already balls deep into assignments. Because I missed that first week of class, I didn't get the grace of like easing in. Like, I'm just in it. Like I said, last Saturday, I did 9 hours. Sunday, I swear, it was like between 6 and 7 hours. Monday, another 6 hours. Tuesday, I had to go on campus first thing in the morning. And then after class, I had to go to work because I do have a day job. And today is the first day where I've been able to like take a little bit of a pause, but I still have had to follow up with teachers and stuff and like quiz. Like I've already taken quizzes. Like I just like I don't know how to convey to y'all how like I just like I miss the starting gun, and I think that's actually a line from a Pink Floyd song. You missed the starting gun. Like I miss the starting gun, and I'm just trying to run my ass off and catch up to people. So here I am, 36. I haven't been to school in a decade, and I'm just already ass deep, balls deep into assignments, homework, writing, math. Like, it's insane right now. So I guess with that in mind, I would like to let you all know that I do plan on keeping up live streaming on Wednesdays. Fridays might be touch and go. Like it's a little touch and go with the streaming schedule in general because I want to get a little bit of a feel for how all my classes are going because I'm going to school full time. Like I'm having to put in like at least 40 hours into like homework time a week. 40 hours a week. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's my story time of how I messed up my first week of school. But in a way, it's kind of good because, like, I can miss that whole social awkwardness and I can just, like, jump right into school and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, yeah. I'm, as you can see, I got, like, notes on my backboard. Like, I got homework. I got shit to do. I got fucking... Like, I got, like, a folder thing. I got so many, like, papers printed out and notebooks. I got all these fucking note cards and stuff with vocabulary. Like, school is such a big priority right now. Like, it's not even funny. So, anyways, that's my story time. That's what's been going on with me. And if you're a little bit at a loss, just so you know, I'm going back to college at age 36, and I'm going back to college to major in sociology. That's the thing. That's the major I choose the most. And I know it seems a little bit weird, like as a Neogenian, like for other Neogenians, it's like, why aren't you taking philosophy? I do love philosophy. I love philosophy a lot. Philosophy to me is the study of ideas themselves. But sociology, to me, is how those ideas apply to people in real life. Like, it's the difference between what looks good on paper and what looks good in real life and is applicable to real life. So, I am majoring in sociology. My goal is to get a bachelor's in sociology. And at that point, probably would like to move on to a master's. So eventually I will be able to have the title of sociologist. Like, so it's more of an academic pursuit with school. Like, I am aspiring to be a sociologist right now. So Cassie says you're kind of lucky you missed all the stupid let's go around the room and everyone say something interesting about themselves. You know what? I hate that shit. I hate it when a teacher is like, everybody talk about something interesting about yourself. It's like, what if I don't have anything interesting? What if I'm not interesting? You know what I think would be a better question? Is say something random about yourself. Random. Actually, I have to pee already. So, while I go pee, I want you all to tell me, pretend I'm your teacher. Tell me something random about yourself. Don't tell me something interesting about yourself. I don't care if it's interesting or not. Say something in the chat right now. Say something random about yourself. I'm gonna go pee. Hold on. Say something say something random about yourself. I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back. Okay, let's see. We got heretical response said, I bought some new shampoo. Okay, yeah. I mean, new as in like new to you? Like, is it a new product in general or. Where's my vape? Where's my vape? Where's my vape? Where's my vape? Oh my god, I'm gonna destroy the world because I don't have my vape. Let's see. Spec says, I've never visited a foreign country. Neither have I. That actually is interesting. Friendo, Buddy Friendo says, I have 3 cats and occasionally make awful music. Me too. Well, I don't have 3 cats, but occasionally I make awful music. Let's see. Brent says, since I got a shoe dryer, my boots don't say. I think this is so interesting. You know, it's so funny when you rephrase the question to just tell me something random about yourself versus like tell me something interesting about yourself. There's less pressure. See, Twilight says, my cat's name is Sweet Peas. That's cute. Nico Peters, what's up? Says, I live next to a shirt seller. See, I love this question. I feel like you learn more about people than asking people to say something interesting about themselves. Like, if you just ask somebody to say something random about themselves, you're going to get a better response. All right, my friends, I guess we should get on to today's topic. So today we're going to cover, because I've been so busy with homework, I need to catch up. So I guess Trump has been going like insano recently, which is not, you know. And what I mean by insane is like he's been ranting a lot about Kamala on Truth Social. And I guess he's being indicted again, so we're just going to look into that. Like, I got to catch up. Secondly, a topic kind of like a little bit close to my heart in some ways. Because I'm an ex-Mormon. Like, I grew up in the Mormon church and I'm an ex-Mormon. So very recently, the Mormon church updated its policy about trans people. And I would like to give commentary on that because it's interesting to say the least. And then lastly, we have Martin Shkreli. Shkreli. It's the pharma bro. Y'all remember like 2018 maybe, like 2017, 18. the guy with like the most punchable face in the world, like the pharma bro that like fucked up and everybody hates him. We're gonna get into that a little bit because I guess he's coming up again, something over a Wu-Tang album. Wu-Tang Clan being like that old rap group back in the day. It's really fucking weird. Like really weird stuff. I don't know who. So basically, the general subject of today is like weird men. Weird men. What are the weird men doing today? All right, let's take a look. Oh, that's so cool, Mark. Mark says, I'm an audiophile. My first job was FM radio in the 80s, the mid 80s. Man, I wasn't even born yet. I was born in 1988. Let's see. Matt MCE Heavyset says, I'm reading and writing heavy poetry. That's good. Heretical Response says this happened a while ago with Mark. Not Mark. Martin. Sorry, Martin Shkreli. Yeah, something else is happening. Mark was on air on the radio between 85 and 86. Yeah, that would be when I was a twinkle in my father's eye. So, anyways, we're in the midst of the electoral season for the president, and as you know, Kamala is now running, and Trump is scrambling. I guess recently there was a new indictment against Trump, and he was triggered. Let me tell you what. But also there's this weird side thing of like Trump releasing another one of his money. I can't say it's a scam. It's just like money squanderings. Oh no. Oh God, no. Okay. Let's read this article first. Hi, David. David says, I think critical thinking sociologists are much needed to build a beautiful, progressive world amidst of our new technologies. That's so cool of you to say, because that's kind of like what I'm striving to become. I'm striving to become a sociologist. I would like to be like a Neogenian sociologist. Hopefully I can contribute something good. All right, feds file new indictment against Trump on January 6th case. Keep charges intact, but narrowing allegations after immunity ruling. Okay, because there was that indictment, and then there was the immunity ruling because, you know, Trump is technically president at the time. So it's like, well, we're going to let that slide, even though this is a really big case. And for some reason, they are prosecuting all the participants of January 6th, except for Trump, which is strange and unusual to me. But hey, what the hey? Yeah. So, Washington AP Special Counsel Jack Smith filed a new indictment Tuesday, just literally yesterday, against Donald Trump over his efforts to undo the 2020 presidential election that keeps the same criminal charges but narrows the allegations against him following a Supreme Court opinion that conferred broad immunity on former presidents. So, yeah, I mean, We've already been up this alley before, and we've already determined that Trump has immunity based on just technically being the president at the time, which is really weird to me, by the way. Just as a very loose opinion on the idea of a president being immune from crime. Isn't that odd? Like, why would we elect a leader that doesn't have the same expectations as a regular U.S. citizen? I mean that very generally. Like in cran. Like, it's not a deep thought, but like, does that make sense to have a leader and we make them immune from things that we would normally have to account for and take responsibility for as U.S. citizens? Doesn't that seem weird? Just in general. Anyways. So the new indictment removes a section of the indictment that had accused Trump of trying to use law enforcement powers of the Justice Department to overturn his election loss. Okay. An area of conduct for which Supreme Court in a 6-3 opinion a 6-3 opinion last month said that Trump was absolutely immune from prosecution. Okay, so they already determined that he's immune. However, people aren't finished. Let's see. Buddy Friendo says presidents shouldn't get more freedom than everyone else. I just find that a very bizarre thing to say. Like, to have an entire concept on presidential immunity. Like, why? I feel like if you're a leader of your people, you should almost have stricter standards to uphold on. Like, it doesn't make any sense that, like, hey, here's your leader. He can get away with, like, far more shit than you could as a regular citizen. That just doesn't add up to me. Anyways. The stripped-down criminal case represents a first effort by prosecutors to comply with a Supreme Court opinion likely to result in a significant revision of the allegations against Trump over his efforts to block the peaceful transfer of power. It was filed 3 days ahead of a deadline for prosecutors and defense lawyers to tell the judge in the case how they wanted to proceed in light of that opinion, which said former presidents are presumptively immune from prosecution for official White House acts. The two sides will be back in court for a status hearing next week. The first such appearance in months, given that the case had been effectively frozen since last December, as Trump's immunity appeal worked its way through the justice system. I mean, this is pure speculation on my part. I'm going to say something purely speculative. But it seems like people are starting to realize that there's a very good chance that Trump will not be president again. So it's like, why don't we just get the ball rolling on these issues, right? That's pure speculation, though. I could be talking out of my ass. Who knows? But it's like, the political environment has shifted so drastically, like, in the last month. And at this point, I think it's somewhat fair to say that Trump most likely won't win. I've been surprised before, so I can't say that for certain. But it seems like Trump isn't doing very well in the campaign. And perhaps with these series of legal issues with him, people are realizing, hey, let's just get the ball going and get this guy out of here. Speculation, though. What do I know? Let's see. The two sides will be back in court for a status hearing next week. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. In a statement on his Truth Social platform, Trump called the new indictment an act of desperation. This is an act of desperation. An effort to resurrect a dead witch hunt. All the problems of the old indictment and should be dismissed immediately. The special counsel's office said that the updated indictment filed in federal court in Washington was issued by a grand jury that had not previously heard evidence in the case. Interesting. It said in a statement that the indictment reflects the government's efforts to respect and implement the Supreme Court's holdings and remand instruction. Remand. Okay, here we go. A new word. What is that? Definition. Remand. Place on bail or in custody, especially when a trial. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Interesting. Let's see. The central revision in the updated criminal case concerns Trump's dealings with the Justice Department. The original indictment included allegations that Trump tried to enlist the department in his failed effort to undo his election loss, including by conducting sham investigations and telling states, incorrectly, that significant fraud has been detected. Well, I mean... And, I feel like this is, like, Trump is like a one-note pony. Just like a one-note. It's like, check out my pony. My pony can do a trick. It can play music, and it only plays one note, That's kind of like Trump. Like, he's got one trick in the book, and it's like, he just accuses other people of fraud and cheating, and he's already doing that with Kamala Harris, who's barely been in the picture for like 2 seconds in in comparison to human time. Like literally been on the radar for 2 seconds for Trump. And he's already accusing her of cheating and fraud and buying and all this stuff, which kind of just turns out to be a self-report, honestly. Anyways. Incorrectly. Significant fraud has been detected. It detailed how Jeffrey Clark, a top official in the Trump Justice Department, wanted to send a letter to elected officials in certain states, falsely claiming that the department had identified significant concerns that may have impacted the outcome of the election, and had asked top department officials to sign it, but they refused. Well, no shit. No shit. Like, this is so ridiculous here. Clark's support for Trump's election fraud claims led Trump to openly contemplate naming him as acting attorney general in place of Jeffrey Rosen, who led the department in the final weeks of the Trump administration. Trump ultimately relented in that idea when he was told that it would result in mass resignations at the Justice Department. According to the original indictment, Rosen remained on his acting attorney general. Rosen remained on as acting attorney general through the end of Trump's tenure. The new case no longer references. Okay, what does that mean though? Hold on, let me read that over again. Okay, never mind. Anyways, the new case no longer references Clark as a co-conspirator. I'm not very good at reading out loud, by the way. Trump's co-conspirators were not named in either indictment, but they have been identified through public records and other means. In its opinion, the Supreme Court held that the president's interactions with the Justice Department constitute official acts for which he is entitled to immunity, effectively stripping those allegations from the case. Okay, as we've explained, the president's power to remove executive officers of the United States whom he has appointed may not be regulated by Congress or reviewed by the courts. Chief Justice John Roberts were. That just seems so weird to me. Like, why have this elaborate system of checks and balances when the system of checks and balances in itself falls short? Do you know what I mean? It just like there's something doesn't quite add up here. Where America like seemingly wants the system of checks and balances, and it doesn't really hold up. But, you know, if you get into Trump and his policy plans and getting into Project 2025 and all of that stuff, it it doesn't really like seem like they like that system of checks and balances, right? Like if you read into Project 2025 that Trump definitely supports, they want to get rid of any like system of checks and balances, and it's like whatever the leader says goes. Let's see, what do we got going on here? Mark says, very much agree. The double standard in confronting Donald Trump is nauseating. Yeah, for sure. Macromonia says, out of the 80 plus cases about election fraud, none succeeded. No credible evidence was presented, and many of the lawyers lost their license. Guess he was just expecting an easy win without credibility. Well, yeah. And that's just honestly, I know it's obvious, right? Like we all know like how Trump is thinking. Like we all know how like narcissistic he is. But he really genuinely is of that mentality, where if he does not win an election, it in his mind it must be because somebody cheated. It must be because something wasn't played fairly. But when Trump is put into the system of checks and balances, things don't add up well. And that's why one of the reasons why I think he's such a huge proponent of Project 2025 is because Project 2025 wants to remove that system of checks and balances so that if Trump was elected, could do whatever he wants. Let's see. The justices returned other core allegations in the case to U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan. The trial judge presiding over the case to determine what constitutes an official act of protection from prosecution and what it is not. The new indictment still includes one of the more stunning allegations brought by Smith, that Trump participated in a scheme orchestrated by allies to enlist states of fraudulent electors in battleground states won by Democratic Joe Biden, who would falsely attest that Trump had won in those states. So we have states that are very distinctly Democratic, and we have states in the U.S. that are very distinctly Republican. But we also have a bunch of states who are quote unquote like battleground states. They're swing states, right? Like they're either Republican or Democratic depending on what's going on at the time, like what election we're in, who's up running for president. So Trump tried to target those states, those swing states, those states that aren't primarily Democratic or Republican, accuse them of being bought out or influenced to go more Democratic for Joe Biden. And that's what Trump's claim was. Ridiculous. Anyways, Roberts wrote in his majority opinion that the interactions between Trump and Pence amounted to official conduct for which Trump is at least presumptively immune from prosecution. I don't understand. See, I'm sorry. I keep coming back to this, and at this point I've repeated it several times. But when I think about a president who is the leader of our country having immunity from a bunch of legal shit that a normal citizen wouldn't have immunity to, something rubs me the wrong way. Just saying. Just saying. Anyways, it also retains allegations that Trump sought to pressure Vice President Mike Pence to reject legitimate electoral votes, and that Trump and his allies exploited the chaos at the Capitol on January 6th in an attempt to further delay the certification of Biden's victory. That was so interesting. That was a really interesting time. Because as much as I do not like Mike Pence, I think he's a piece of shit. It was interesting to see Mike Pence at the time stand up to Trump and say, you know what, I can't. Because Trump wanted him to do everything within his power to make sure that Trump won the presidency. And Mike Pence was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Pence is a piece of shit, but at least he stood his ground on that point. And I don't think Trump expected that. And now Trump has Vance, which is just a joke. At least with Pence, even though that, Mike Pence was a piece of shit, at least you could gather that he had some, cognitive ability or, some intelligence to, deal with situations in the political environment. But, with Shady Vance, I don't know. It's I don't know if J.D. Vance is running for vice president or class vice president of a high school. You know what I mean? Anyways, Roberts wrote in his majority opinion that the interactions between Trump and Pence amounted to official conduct for which Trump is at least presumably immune from prosecution. The question, Roberts wrote, is whether the government can rebut that presumption of immunity. Okay, but what is that? Sometimes when you read words, they mean one thing in one instance and another thing in another instance. So, for example, what does the word presume mean philosophically? And then what does the word presume mean legally? Or what does the word presume mean politically? You could take that same word and it could mean three different things depending on what you're trying to look at it from. So what the fuck does presumption of immunity mean in this case? I would like to know. I would like more explanation on that. Let's see. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson dissented from the ruling in an excerpt from an interview with CBS News Sunday morning that aired Tuesday. She said, "I was concerned about a system that appeared to provide immunity for one individual under one set of circumstances when we have a criminal justice system that had ordinarily treated everyone as the same." Yeah, no joke. We supposedly have this justice system that's supposed to treat everybody the same, whether or not you're a garbage man or a mayor. And suddenly there's this part of the system that's well, if you're one of the major leaders of your people, you can be given immunity. But, the garbage man can't. What does it, how is there equalness and fairness, especially where this is fucking America, where we are all created equal, under God, with liberty, and justice for all that shit. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so I guess Trump went fucking ballistic. This is his actual, Truth Social, thing going on here. And we're going to take a look at that. I have to pee again. I'm sorry. I have to pee again. Okay, stay here. I have to pee again. Hold on. Stay here. I have to pee again. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Ugh. So, kind of related, and I guess a little bit unrelated, is just Trump's general reaction to what he thinks is being picked on, I guess. If you don't know, Trump has his own social media website called Truth Social, and it's like the primary place that he posts from. So, let's see, let's go back. No, I'm not signing up. Fuck you. God, there is a lot going on this page. How do I make this bigger? Like, I need to... I don't know how to make the words bigger on Opera. There we go. Wait, what? I have a fantastic new book coming out in 2 weeks. It's called Save America. I hand select every photo. They're brilliant. They're wonderful. You've never seen any photos like this before. From my time in the White House to our current third pancane. What the fuck, Jan? Our current third campaign for President of the United States, a must-have on U.S. history. It's the best piece of history ever, especially for America patriots. Get a copy now at 45books.com. Let's see, what the fuck is this? Oh, no. Wow. Look at all those beautiful fucking people. Oh, God. MTG his son. God, these people's names are at the tip of my tongue. $500 fucking dollars for a signed pre-order. What the fuck is this book even about? Oh no, it's got the fucking... It's got that picture on the front of it. Okay, if you don't get it signed, it's still $100. What is this, college? Am I buying college books right now? Like, what the fuck is this shit?
We have some very big news. Hello to my fellow patriots, my great Americans. We have some very big news. My new book, Save America, published by Winning Team Publishing, is now available for order on 45books.com. It is the only book that covers my time in the White House, our third presidential campaign, and a preview of the best things that are yet to come. We're going to have incredible things to come. So the book is going to be something you're going to love. Get a copy today. Go to 45books.com. Thank you, everybody.
What the fuck is it even about? I mean, I know what it's about. I know he described that it's about his, like, time during being a president. But it's like, what the... Clearly he did not write this book. Why is it so thick? And why is it so fucking expensive? This man is grifting hard. Oh, Charlie Kirk. Fuck Charlie Kirk. The right-wing revolution... Letters to Trump? What the fuck? President Donald J. Trump's second official book since leaving the White House, Letters to Trump. A colorful photo book captures the incredible and oftentimes private correspondence between President Donald J. Trump and some of the biggest names in history throughout the past 40 years. From President Richard Nixon to Princess Diana to Hillary Clinton to Chairman Kim Jong-un. No book offers a glimpse into history quite like Letters to Trump. Who the fuck wrote that? Every letter has been handpicked by President Donald J. Trump. Okay, isn't that biased, though? And is accompanied by his original commentary. I wish I could see this without having to buy it. All sales are final, I'm sure. Oh, God, look at all the shit you can get. This shit is expensive. 400 books? 400 books? 400 bucks for a signed copy of that? 500? 30 bucks for a MAGA hat? This shit is expensive. What the fuck? The College Scam by Charlie Kirk. Why? Because Charlie Kirk thinks that colleges are too woke? Like, what the fuck is... I mean, there's definitely aspects of college that is totally a scam. Like, there's no denying that. But, like, anything said by Charlie Kirk, like, I have to wonder what the motive is there. Charlie Kirk is just, like, another one of those right-wing grifters. Has he done anything lately? Let's see if he has any, like, recent videos or something. Charlie Kirk wrecks Democratic supporting liberal. Okay, let's see.
Mr. Kirk, I'd like to talk.
Let's look at Kirk supposedly own liberals. Let's try this here.
Real quick, I gotta test at 3, so
okay.
I'm gonna make it
right off the bat. Go ahead.
Sorry, I've been waiting. You're supposed to be here at 2:30. I just want to introduce
Complicated
myself.
business.
I want to introduce myself. I would describe myself as a libertarian independent. I'm from Massachusetts.
Okay, we got a libertarian here.
Bruin shirt. I'm not a secret Democrat.
Okay.
My goal here is not to expose you or anything.
Well, good luck, but yeah.
I think the reason why, I hope the reason why you're here, and I think the reason why debates are important is because everyone in a debate has a chance to learn something. I believe that I could learn something from you today.
Okay.
Do you believe you could learn something from me?
Possibly.
Possibly. All right. So freshman year, was told that Turning Point was a nonpartisan libertarian organization against big government. Would you care? That's how you would categorize it?
Not libertarian.
Not libertarian?
No.
Okay, well that's what they told to me.
Depends how you define libertarian, though.
Well, yeah.
How would you define it? Classically?
I would define it as freedom, individual freedom.
I love
so
freedom.
Freedom to bear arms.
Okay.
You know, freedom to marry who you want to marry. Okay. Well,
okay.
So you think the government should step in and regulate who people?
It is really interesting. I gotta say, like, because when you're on social media, there's constantly these terms thrown around like liberal, libertarian, and leftists, and it's like, what's the difference between liberals, libertarians, and leftists? They have a lot in common, but there's some key differences. I'm still kind of learning about it because it's really strange because there is a lot of overlap between them. But I feel like when right-wing conservatives talk about libertarianism, liberals and leftists, they don't really care about the difference between those. They just kind of like lump it all in one thing as just like opposers to their ideology. But it's definitely important to know the difference between liberals, libertarians, and leftists. Liberals, they do like personal freedoms, but they still rely on government. They want to rely on government. Leftists tend to want the same personal freedoms, but they want to completely overhaul the government, like completely recreate it new. Like they don't necessarily mind some government influence, but it needs to be completely overhauled, recreated. Whereas libertarians are like, we'll work within the parameters of the capitalist nature of society to get what we want. And then there's libertarians who want as little government as possible, no matter what kind of government it is. Now, my explanation of these things is not perfect, so don't rely on me for that. Like, look it up for yourself. I'm still learning about the differences between these things, but like with leftists, liberals, and libertarians, there is an element of like personal freedom. It kind of, the difference between them boils down to like what they want, how they want government influence, whether if it's a little, it's completely overhauled, or none at all.
People want to marry.
Well, it depends. I mean, do you think children should be able to marry adults?
No, but that's...
well, that's
children,
the government regulating marriage.
Adults. All adults.
Oh, so kids can marry adults.
No, all
well, that's
adults,
the government, so you're not a libertarian.
Should be able to marry all other adults.
Oh, okay. Why adults? Why do you draw the line there, though?
I mean, age is not a protected, right under...
But why use the government to enforce age restrictions for marriage? That's not very libertarian.
Why are you saying that?
Because I'm not a libertarian.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I just,
But so you believe the government should have some role?
I believe in, small roles, as minimal as...
Well, as a libertarian, you probably wouldn't want any government influence. So, I mean, Charlie kind of has him a little bit there, but only because this kid's coming from the premise of, like, I'm a libertarian. So, I mean, like, there's a lot of room for fallacies there.
All right.
As minimal as possible to protect the well-being.
You started with an absolute statement saying, why would you want to use the government to tell people who to marry? And you agree that sometimes that's the right move.
Absolutely.
Okay, continue.
But I would not prohibit adults marrying other adults because
how about polygamous marriages? Is that okay?
Sure, because adults are doing what they would like to do. As long as everyone in that marriage consents to that polygamous marriage, there's no issue, and I don't understand why you would think that people are in danger in polygamous marriages.
Okay, continue.
And, of course, just other, big issues of our time. Marijuana legalization. Okay. If you're not in favor of marijuana legalization, you're not a libertarian. I believe in that individual right.
I don't say I'm a libertarian, so I don't know why.
And this is where I think this is kind of like a useless conversation. I mean, you have a very distinct libertarian kid coming to Charlie Kirk who's like a conservative Republican, and you're trying to just like match up ideas with ideas, like you're just trying to compare ideas there. And like the kid said, like, you know, if you're a libertarian, you think this and that. And Charlie Kirk is not a libertarian. So, I mean, I don't like Charlie Kirk, but he does have some valid points of like, I'm not a libertarian. Why the fuck are you talking to me about these certain points?
Why I'm on trial
I don't
for
know why,
being something I'm not.
If you are, you know, against big...
Okay, Charlie, you're not on trial here. It's literally just a college kid. Like, what the... You're not on trial. Like, shut up. Stop being so defensive.
Government, I don't know why you would like...
Well, because interestingly enough...
Well, you're interrupting me, Mr. Kirk. I don't know why you would like for the government to take away the rights of citizens, because, you know, I don't think that governments should take away the rights of citizens.
Right, okay. So why is it a right to be able to do a hallucinogenic drug?
Well, marijuana is not a hallucinogenic
well, potentially
drug.
Wait. I have so many things to say, I don't know where to start. Now suddenly we've gone on from like marriage to talking about like marijuana. And immediately Charlie Kirk is like, why would I defend the rights for people to do a hallucinogenic drug? Yeah, marijuana is not a hallucinogen by classification. I mean, I guess you can hallucinate, like, off it, but strictly defining it as a hallucinogenic drug doesn't make sense to me at all. It's a medicinal plant. This is a weird conversation. Like, this is a very bizarre fucking conversation. Like, I would be one of these people standing in the back just like high off my ass because, you know, I'm between classes and I'm just taking a couple hits of my weed pen. Like, this would be so fucking weird to look at. Mark says libertarians are Republicans who want to do drugs. They reject social conservatism, but also want zero accountability for maintaining any civic or devoted to the common good. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe a little bit more explanation on that, and I'll understand better what you're trying to say. Anyways, let's look at hallucinogenics, apparently. I mean, I guess on that note, I'll take a hit of weed. Here we go. I'm smoking the Mary Jane right now. I'm doing one marijuana. I don't know. I'm Californian, so weed for me is like a cup of tea. I don't know. But that's kind of like my attitude on marijuana in general. Like, it's been a part of my life for so long, and in such a way where it's so benign. It's so benign. I'm coughing again. Sorry. All right. So anyways, marijuana to me is so benign. It's like having a cup of tea. And the only times I've had trouble with regularly consuming marijuana is when I'm around other people who don't. And even if other people who don't consume marijuana, they still kind of, and I'm not saying all do, but like in my experience, the people who I've smoked marijuana around, they have a stigma against it. So when I smoke it, they kind of like look at me like, oh, you're high. Like, oh my goodness, you can't think about anything, can you? And it's like, dude, I'm just relaxed. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like being around other people that make it so much more of a big deal than like in my everyday regular life. Like, it's like I wake up, I have a cup of coffee, I take a hit of my pen, and it's nothing to me, you know. But I've been around people before, lived with people where they're like, oh, wow, you're smoking already in the morning? Gee, it's so early. It's like, dude, don't don't make a big thing out of this. Like it's not even like that. But I get that some people, when they smoke marijuana or partake of marijuana, it gives them like a psychosis. Like it does interact with their minds a lot more than others. I happen to be one of those people where I smoke marijuana and it doesn't affect me in a way where it's where I get a psychosis or anything from it. If anything, for me, it's mostly physical. Like 95% physical. Might feel a little like airheaded, you know, just kind of airheaded, like a little goofy. But for me, it's mostly physical. But I have chronic pain. I have chronic pain issues. So marijuana helps mitigate that because it feels mostly physical, and it just sort of alleviates the tension in my nerves, like physically. So it's a little weird to me when people think about marijuana as this crazy thing that like totally alters your brain and you go to these crazy places. Some people definitely get a psychosis from smoking marijuana. I'm not one of those people. So like I said, like for me, it's like a cup of tea. Sometimes I've been around people where they're not used to it, and so they think like, to them it's almost equated as if like if I was to wake up and take a hit of my pen like first thing in the morning, like to those people it's the same thing as waking up and taking a couple shots of liquor. It's like, no, that's not the fucking same at all. Anyways, let's go on about marijuana. Here, let's backtrack it a little.
Right, okay. So why is it a right to be able to do a hallucinogenic drug?
Well, marijuana is not a hallucinogenic
well, potentially
drug.
hallucinogenic.
It
All
is
right,
not.
it's obviously
It is not.
it's obviously showing well. Continue.
Okay. Would you agree with the statement that if there are monopolies regulating all sorts of business, would you agree that that's not real capitalism if those monopolies have all the control?
Potentially, that's. I mean, you had to give me an example.
Right.
So.
Well, okay. This was the example I wrote up. A Walmart moves into a rural town, sells products cheaper than the local supermarket and clothing stores.
Okay.
The other stores begin going out of business. After the other stores go out of business, Walmart raises its prices. They begin hiring immigrants cheaper wages. Should the government step in and regulate the business to help those people?
It depends.
Okay.
That's how a conservative would answer the question. You have to use prudence.
All right. Last thing I wanted to talk about real quickly, there are some real idiots running for office both sides of the spectrum, right? I mean, I didn't say it before, some Democrats I despise.
This conversation is moving so fast from point to point to point to point. Let's see. Oh, let me see what Mark said about libertarianism. Because Mark said something good, but I needed just a little bit more explanation. Let's see. Mark says, I'm reading Mark. Libertarians in the U.S. are so right-leaning that they define taxation as theft categorically. Yeah, they're tea spillers. Straight up tea spillers. But have zero satisfying answers for how to privatize, say, fire departments without dire consequences. Yeah, because if libertarians want as little government influence as possible, if it boiled down to things like, for example, fire departments, I mean, that's like state, county regulated, right? Like that's regulated within a system of government. There's a system of checks and balances there of like who's involved with that. But if we eliminate government, then it's like, how are we privatizing like fire departments? How do you do that? There's not real much explanation for what their plan is with that. I think that's a really good example and a great way to understand it. And that's why I think it's real. Like, you can't take Neogenian and say, oh, Neogenian is leftist, or Neogenian is libertarian, or Neogenian is liberal. Like, you can't really fit that into any of those categories, because if you look at like what the ideals are, it's not exactly matching, because Neogenian would say or in that system, in the Neogenian system, we would say like, well, clearly we need some system of checks and balances. And we don't know until we get there, like, of how much influence that's going to take and like if it goes too far. So, I mean, the Neogenian system, when it comes to like political issues, there's still more to discover there. So, but at least we have the grace of saying like, well, we don't have that detail yet. We just know that we need something teleological in the sense that we need a system that works to bring everybody together as individuals into something more unified. Or how to have, Mark says, or how to have equitable access to public schools and libraries. Right, because, and that would make sense how libertarians are conservative and Republican in a way, even though they don't describe themselves as such. Because the direction that conservative Republicans are moving towards these days is to more private sources of education, private sources of pretty much everything. There's a lot of things that are privatized that honestly shouldn't be, like banks, you know? Why are banks privatized? I don't know. That's a really fucking good question, and maybe we should have a whole fucking 3-hour conversation about that. Okay. My brain is jumping back to the video. I'm kind of jumping all around here. I'm a little bit distracted by so many things, but thank you, Mark. I think you had some good points. Let's see. Yeah, like insurance, privatized insurance, Mark says, but imagine the alternative of getting billed $10,000 for yeah, if we had like a privatized fire department, it's like if that privatized fire department comes out to your house and saves it from burning down to the ground, as Mark says, imagine getting like a $10,000 bill. Like that really. And if you're not like covered in some sort of private insurance company that works with them, they'll just let your house burn to the ground. And I think the same goes with the medical care. Medical care probably should not be privatized, right? We should have and that's the difference, is like you have to think about if something is privatized, it's determined by the individual or the small group of individuals who are in charge of that company, a private company who's in charge of a service such as like providing firefighting services. Like if it's privatized, everything's up to their personal policy. But if we had some system of checks and balances, like a system that says, hey, that's not quite ethical, let's figure it out this way, like that's the difference that I'm talking about between like somebody private deciding all the things and then like a whole system of checks and balances, a whole system that says, hey, we should probably have some like stipulations or technicalities or something put into place so like that people aren't caught deciding between overpaying a lot of money for a private insurance company to make sure their house doesn't burn down. Like surely if somebody's house is on fire, there should be some sort of service in place where they don't check your deposit first, right? Like, well, we didn't get your deposit, so we kind of just have to let your house burn, you know, like. Macromonia says privatization is a neoliberal bit. See, that's interesting. Neoliberalism comes from right wing. Their economic, I think you mean economy, ideology based on the lies about our monetary system, bring rapacious high tax and the dangerously low public proposed spending. Yeah, really began in the earnest with you know, you say Reagan, and it's so funny. Like, I don't quite know how to articulate it better than this sentence right here. But, like, so much shit got fucked up from Reagan. I don't know how to say it more articulately than that. Something about Reagan, everything that we're facing today in America, like, that's fucked up. you can trace back to Reagan. I swear to God. It's almost like tracing every celebrity to, God, what's his face from Footloose? Kevin Bacon. It's like that weird thing where you can trace every celebrity that's worked in any project eventually down to Kevin Bacon. It's like that with Reagan. In American political history, everything that's fucked up today, you can totally trace back to Reagan. I'm not being insane here. Like, really, I don't know how to articulate it better than that, but like, you really can. It's kind of funny in a morbid, horrible way. Yeah, like 6 degrees of Ronald Reagan. I'm not even joking. This is great. This is by far, I think this is like one of my more favorite like political conversations that we've had. Anyways, let's this conversation keeps jumping from point to point to point. Let's just follow along as best as we can. Max says, every time I see a terrible, cheaply produced product that's overpriced, I scream Reaganomics.
Nancy Pelosi, Cory Bush, Chuck Schumer.
Good for you. We agree.
Idiots, all right? All right?
All right, let me backtrack that a little bit, because they keep moving. This kid keeps moving.
Last thing I wanted to talk about real quickly, there are some real idiots running for office both sides of the spectrum, right? I mean, I didn't say it before, some Democrats I despise, Nancy Pelosi, Cory Bush, Chuck Schumer.
Good
They're
for you.
all
We
fucking
agree.
idiots, all right? All right? However, there's one real pressing candidate on the right that I think a lot of conservatives are starting to realize is a complete nut job, and I just want to hear your
Mitt
opinions
Romney?
on Mr. Herschel Walker. Now, his son, well-known conservative,
Oh, Herschel Walker.
Yes.
influencer, I believe you may have met him at some point.
Yeah, I did a whole show on this, so I hope
Perfect.
you know my position on it.
I know
So-
your position is that you are in favor of electing Herschel Walker to
100%,
office
yeah.
over a
And again, that's not Turning Point's
pastor,
position, but that's mine.
A,
But yeah,
a
just-
person whose job it is to profess religion, a pastor. You believe that Herschel Walker is more fit than that person for office, and maybe you can
absolutely.
explain
Yes,
that.
that's
But
correct.
you think so. Your sign right here: abortion should be illegal.
Yes.
So why is Herschel Walker not in jail?
Well, first of all, we don't know he paid for the abortion.
Okay.
So what's the evidence to show he
Okay,
did?
well, if he is,
It's a very serious
shown-
accusation.
Okay,
I agree.
If he is linked by direct evidence, you would at that point say that he should not be.
Potentially,
shown
but
fraud.
I'd
Okay.
have to make that decision. But he denies
Okay.
it, and the evidence is very shaky. It's very shaky.
It's not.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's against abortion, but he's in support of Herschel Walker, who at one point paid for an abortion, allegedly. But if that was true, he would potentially, Charlie Kirk would potentially not support him. But that, I mean, the kid's got him there. Like, you know, these people are so black and white with issues such as abortion. It's like, why are you exploring the gray area now?
But
okay.
Raphael Warnock wants to make abortion up to the point of birth, and he wants to
I
make
don't think
that
that's true at all.
policy. Well, he does. He's voted
Okay.
that way.
All right.
So that's Warnock's policy.
You said he's voted that way. Was there ever a vote set on whether
Multiple
abortion should be
times.
legal up
Yes.
to the point
Yes,
of birth?
multiple times.
All right. Well, my personal view is that it should be up until a baby can survive outside the womb. At that point, because I think there's a difference between when it relies upon the mother's body and when
so
it
a 26-week-old baby that has to go to the NICU is not a human being?
I believe the precedent for the NICU thing was 22 weeks. I believe.
Yeah.
that was what it was.
So you're okay, but they can't survive without.
Oh my God. I'm so sick of the ABC conversation about abortion and trans people too. The ABCs. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like, no, people aren't aborting the baby the day before it's due. It's like all this shit. But there's always that one asshole in the comments who's like, no, guess what? Look at this article here that I found randomly after 10 minutes of searching that supports my idea that babies are being aborted like the day before they're due. I'm so tired of these conversations. I really am.
Help.
I would be okay if a state decided that was not the rule.
Got it.
But
So let me ask.
I don't have any issue with the Supreme Court's ruling on
Yeah,
it.
let
But
me
I
ask
think,
you- can I ask you a question?
I really like Tim Miller.
No.
Okay, Tim Miller is he runs the Bulwark Project, the Republican Voters Against Trump Instagram page. Lifelong Republican, helped George Bush's campaign, worked with Jeb Bush.
Okay.
His opinion is it's ridiculous to say that abortion should be legal in all cases or illegal in all cases.
Right.
There are obviously...
Well, let me ask you a very simple question.
Yes.
When does life begin?
In my opinion, well, human life began, or when does life begin?
No. When does a zeta connect to a fetus? Even as Neogenians, we don't know for certain. Probably a conception. We don't know. But even if that pregnancy was terminated, the zeta is just going to connect immediately to another body. Like, it's not like it's done forever. It's like, oh, oops, gate closed, not right here. Sorry, kiddo, move on. Like, it's not, but we don't know for a fact the second a zeta enters a physical body. Like, we don't connects. Like, we don't, or interfaces. Like, we don't know exactly. We just know at some point that happens. And like I said, maybe... probably at conception, but even if that link with the zeta and the body that is developing, the avatar that is developing, even if that's broken, it's not going anywhere. Like, it's gonna most likely immediately connect to a different body. Buddy Friendo says, I always wondered how the zeta of a starfish works when the starfish is cut in half. Right, because if you cut parts of a starfish off, it's kind of like a worm. Like, it just, those two parts will develop into their own independent things. I wonder that too, and I honestly have no answers for that. I just think it's really interesting. I also think about jellyfish in the same way, because jellyfish technically don't have a brain. So I'm, in my mind, I'm like, where's the zeta? Like, where is it? Like, where's the zeta? If a zeta's interface, like, directly with brains, then it's like, and then I think the same thing about, like, microscopic animals, like, it's like, where is a zeta able to enter something, and it probably at the single cell state, maybe a single cell organism may have a zeta. I don't know, but I also like, it's like recreational thinking, because I'm like, as a Neogenian, I think like, well, I'm a zeta, and right now I'm in a human body. Where was I before? Oh, maybe I was an animal or something. And then I'm thinking like, do you remember the amoeba days? Do you remember when we were all amoebas and life was so much simpler? So I think it's really interesting to think about that kind of stuff. I think it's really fun. Anyways.
Yeah, human life. That's the operative question,
human
right?
Life begins when a human can survive outside, a human can survive outside
Why?
the body.
Why do you believe that?
That would be, well, because,
No, I don't.
All right. Human life, if I cut off my finger, is that human?
Got it.
That clump of human cells, is that different?
Well, let me ask you a question. So if someone who's on a ventilator who can't survive without external machine support, is that a human life?
Well, they can survive outside.
But it's not dependent on another human being.
Inside the womb.
But
I mean, like, biologically.
not without a machine.
I mean,
Without assistance.
Oh,
without help.
Okay, people on ventilators, oftentimes will cede their right to be removed from
Or
a
someone on
ventilator.
dialysis, or someone who's in a nursing home. They can't support themselves, right? So, but those are still human lives.
Yes.
This is such an apples and oranges, like, argument. An apple and oranges argument is like, okay, apples and oranges are both fruit, right? You can loosely, like, categorize both of them as that. Like they're doing here between, like, a fetus and a person on life support. Both of these things are dependent on somebody else to take care of them. It's a loose association. But they're completely different. It's kind of a fallacy. It's like an apples and oranges argument. It's an apples and oranges fallacy. It's like, yeah, sure, both are fruit, but like they're so different. It's like it's such a waste of time to sit and compare the two.
Got it.
Okay.
So
I think you know the difference between a developing human that may not have a heartbeat or may not have.
well, heartbeats start at 6
may
weeks,
not
so that's a
have
different.
organs that help you.
Now
Okay,
we're moving it
but
back.
So you would be okay with a 6-week abortion ban?
You
would
can
be
come up. That's
You
okay.
would be,
In a sec.
you would be okay with a 6-week abortion ban?
No, of course not.
Okay, well then there we'll just aware.
No, but you've already moved. I
I'd
mean,
be okay with a 6-week abortion ban if
okay,
I
but
would be,
you've
especially
that's
with
fine. I mean,
compromise.
we're at least we're getting
If-
somewhere.
If Democrats and
Well,
Republicans.
no, I would be
in
okay with that ban. Is
Congress
that my
were
ideal?
able-
No, but no, I agree.
Okay,
I
and my
didn't
ideal
answer
would
your.
be 15 weeks.
I didn't answer your question
15
correctly.
to 22
Okay.
weeks, I would say would be my ideal, and I think that it's important that we recognize the issues that are a
Okay.
lot more important than
All right.
5, 6, 16 weeks in an abortion ban, right?
Well, you
So
came prepared. I wanna get to
basically-
other people, so.
all of the audience here, I just want you to know, don't see red or blue. Charlie Kirk wants you to see red versus blue. He wants you to see that, you should vote for one of the main political parties. In supporting that, you are supporting the big government
All right,
system
okay.
that Mr. Kirk dislikes. Vote third party if you want. If you're dissatisfied
Very
with
good.
both parties, vote third party and support candidates that want to make ranked choice voting allowed so that we can have more candidates and better candidates, because when we have ranked choice voting, candidates that better support what the people want
All right.
will win.
Thank you,
you,
my
Mr.
friend.
Kirk.
Thanks
it
for
was
being
really
here.
nice talking
Appreciate
to you.
it. Thank
I do
you.
respect you a lot,
God
and I
bless
hope
you.
that you keep learning from people who talk to you today.
I listen to you. Thank you.
Charlie Kirk, everyone. Where were we? Oh yeah, we were just looking at this book, The College Scam by Charlie Kirk. Okay. Man, this is like he posts like Donald Trump posts a lot on Truth Social. Like this is crazy. Trump will save Elon Musk. Oh no. Says that Trump will save democracy in America. Mark my words. Kamala/Harris. Wait, Kamala/Harris? Why is it Kamala/Harris? Don't you mean Walls? Like Harrison Walls? Like what? Why is there a slash? It's a fucking name, you dumbass. Flip-flopping Kamala.
Axios is telling us that Kamala is pledging to build more border wall. But have you heard Kamala pledge that? I haven't. Her handlers are just saying she's going to build border wall, just not as much as Trump wanted. Does Kamala Harris know what the Kamala Harris campaign's saying?
This administration has decided to vilify them and to trade on them for the sake of this president's medieval vanity project called a wall. I'm not going to vote for a wall under any circumstances. He has decided to vilify immigrants and put his whole political strength around a vanity project called a wall, which would cost taxpayers of America billions of dollars. And by the way, that wall will never get built. That wall ain't gonna stop them. No.
I mean, it's true. Yeah, you can build a wall all you want. It's not really gonna make much difference. Election interference at its worst. Mega 2024. Where's his rants? Oh, yeah. Him going on about Kamala. It's always fake with Kamala. We're dominating her on social media, so she makes up a fake list. Yes, very fake. of her numbers versus my numbers. All my numbers are the best, the greatest ever. They've been the best ever. They've been the best numbers in all of American history. All of our engagement is real and organic, while Kamala has to pay for her fake engagement. We're beating her like a drum, like we will beat her on November 5th. It's all fake. It's all misinformation and disinformation. It's the worst disinformation we've ever seen in American history. We are destroying the Democrats on social media. No, you're really not, though. Is this like in response? Oh, I think this is in response to like they're trying to be an indictment again on him. Let's see. The gag order applied by highly conflicted acting justice merchant is horrible and un-American. Un-American. I am the leading candidate in the election. No, you're not. Having beaten all Republicans. I mean, that part's true. And now beating the second Democratic nominee, Comrade Kamala is like his nickname for her now. Who was put in as a result of a coup against crooked Joe Biden. When asked about the lawless Manhattan DA hoax, I'm not allowed to talk about the most important and corrupt aspects of it because of the completely unconstitutional gag order. I'm the first candidate in American history who is not allowed to freely speak about a major witch hunt that's being perpetuated against him. I must immediately be released from the gag order so I can continue to expose the weaponization of our justice system by the radical Democrats. The good news is that the American people see through these witch hunts and will bring us a dominant victory on November 5th. Make America great again. I mean, at this point in the ball game, because we still have plenty of time till when it comes time to vote, there's still a chance that Trump could win this, even if it seems slim. There's still a chance. Man, if he doesn't win, though, it's just going to be the same shit all over again. It's going to be about how, like, it's going to be a whole, like, election fraud hunt all over again. It's just going to be a disaster. Let's see. Let's go back to the cards real fast because I think this is funny. Alright, back by popular demand, my Trump digital trading cards, the best trading cards in the world. Series 4. Okay, we're on Series 4 now. The America First collection is available right now, and I think you'll love it. Yes, you'll absolutely love it. For some, there will be an invite to gala dinner at my beautiful private club in Jupiter, Florida. No, wait. Trump's collected cards. Let's see. Play, damn it.
Hello, everyone. This is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, with some very exciting news. By popular demand, I'm doing a new series of Trump digital trading cards. You all know what they are. We've had a lot of fun with them. It's called the America First Collection. 50 all-new stunning digital trading cards. It's really something. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some bitcoins. Here's the best part.
Fuck?
I'm doing great things for my Trump digital card collection.
They're like also NFT, like it's also cryptocurrency.
First, there's the real physical Trump cards. Purchase 15 or more of my Trump digital trading cards and we'll mail you a beautiful physical trading card. It's really...
What is this, like baseball cards? Like, are you going to have a piece of your uniform attached to it too?
I think quite something. Each physical trading card has an authentic piece of my suit that I wore for the presidential debate. And people are calling it the knockout suit.
Straight up, yeah. Have a piece of my suit glued to the car. It's totally like baseball cards. So in some baseball cards, they actually like they'll have like signed versions of the baseball players with like the tiniest little portion of like their sports outfit or their jersey like put to it. This is so fun. What is this? Like, what are those things called? Shit. There's a certain word for it. It's like artifacts that are like supposedly from Jesus. Like, you know, like if somebody touched Jesus and then touched like something that also touched something that touched something else, like it's like a hardcore like Jesus artifact. But there's a certain word for that. Like, what is that? It's at the tip of my tongue. It's almost like they're talking about it like that, though. Yeah, Jackie, I think it is called relics. Yeah, like the saints' relics. It's like, oh, here's this pendant that supposedly has like the teeniest like piece of the garment that Jesus was wearing if he died or something, or like I touched the blood of Jesus and then I touched like this hand and somebody else's hand which touched like this object which touched that object and suddenly it's a relic. It's like that's what he's trying to do here. You know, if this wasn't so sad, like if this wasn't so sad and real with like Trump like selling all this stupid shit, I would totally like get this. Like if it wasn't too much money, I would get it. Ironically, I would wear a MAGA shirt or like a Trump, like a shirt that says like Trump is our savior, like with Trump's face on like the body of Jesus on a cross. Like I would totally wear shit like that, ironically, if it wasn't taken so fucking seriously by a lot of people in America right now. Like, they kind of, like, ruined it. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that, but that's what they're calling it. So we'll cut up the knockout suit, and you're going to get a piece of it, and we'll be randomly autographing 5 of them, a true collector's item. This is something to give your family, your kids, your grandchildren. Number 2 is to purchase 75 of my Trump digital trading cards, and you will also be invited to join me for a gala dinner at my beautiful country club in...
What was that? Who edited this? Who created this image? That clearly does not look like him.
At my beautiful country club in Jupiter, Florida.
Make Trump a meme again? Totally.
We really have tremendous dinners with my collectors. Have a lot of fun together. We're going to have a good time. I'm keeping my Trump digital trading cards at the same price of $99 each. We've done that right from the beginning. So go to collecttrumpcards.com. It's really easy to buy. You just need an email address and a credit card or crypto. You know, they call me the crypto president. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of people are saying that. So don't miss out. Go to collecttrumpcards.com. Go right now and collect your piece of American history. Let's have fun together and enjoy my Trump cards. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll be talking about it for a long time. Thank you very much. Have a good time.
Oh, my fuck. Oh, my hell. Minimum purchase required. Buy Trump trading cards and get amazing packages. Oh, my God. Trump shoes. Trump sneakers. Yeah, if this wasn't taken so seriously by so many Americans and so many people, like, I would totally wear this shit, like, ironically. A gala dinner with President Trump. That's not how he looks. What in the AI-generated bullshit is this? Autograph sneaker. Dude, I don't care what president it is. I don't even care if it's a president I really like. I'm not fucking buying like Trump or like Trump signed shoes, but like I'm not buying shoes or signed by a president. That just seems so fucking weird, cringy, and grifty. A piece of Trump's personal debate suit will be on your physical card shipped to you. Introducing the low top version. Is this man really running for president? This is insane. Digital trading cards, NFTs, collectible NFT. Oh my fuck, look at these. These are the stupidest looking things ever. Some will be rare. Some. Oh my fuck. Who made these? He doesn't look like that. He doesn't have muscles. He's not that good looking. He's not that slim. What the actual fuck? $100? Oh my fuck. Dinner with the president at his private country club. Oh my gosh. Oh my fuck. Yo, and there, you know for a fact there's people out there who were having a raging boner over this stuff. Hi, Lee. Good to see you. He's literally never been attractive. No, but like, you see how they're trying to portray him here. Like, that's not how you look, dude. Yo, look, where's your fucking neck vagina? Like, Trump straight up has like a neck pussy. I should probably pull this over here. Probably pull up something. Yeah, this shit. Hold on. Like, the man straight up has like a neck vagina. But yet you're gonna go and portray him like this. Like he's got like a perfect neck. Oh my fuck. People are really into this? Jesus Christ. This is expensive. $500? $100? Like, what the fuck? I mean, it's not surprising the man's a grifter. He's always been a grifter from day one, even before he was president, but it's like Jesus Christ. Like, there's just no dignity here. Ugh. Ugh. All right, let's move on from Trump. Maybe we'll go to... Yeah, let's do the Mormon church next. It'll be quick. I need to use the bathroom, but we are moving on to our next subject. Stay here, don't go anywhere. Okay. Shit. So, if you don't know this, I am actually an ex-Mormon. I grew up Mormon. I grew up in that ideology. That was my first experience in life. And so every once in a while, I like to check in to see what the church is up to. And recently, the Mormon church is under fire for a recent policy of how to interact and deal with and what to do with transgender people. And I find it really hypocritical, and let's get into why. Let's see. The Mormon Church issues new restrictions on transgender members. I don't know why a transgender would be a member of the church. I don't know why. Honestly, let me back it up, because that's not fair to say. I don't know why anybody would be a member of the Mormon Church. It doesn't matter what fucking minority they are. Let's see. So the Mormon Church issues new restrictions on transgender members. The new policies include a measure to annotate trans members' records, grouping them with members who have committed sexual violence or abuse. Let me read that again, in case you didn't catch that. The new policies include a measure to annotate trans members' records and group them with members who have committed sexual violence or child abuse. Now, the church doesn't actually mean this. Let me back up and explain. This is just a headline. The Mormon Church, in a nutshell, has decided that, you can be a member of the church if you're transgender. But if you actively pursue to transition, then there's going to be some limitations to how you can interact into the church. And one of the main issues is for the church is you can't have any interaction with children in the church at all. And you have to be accompanied by somebody else when you use the bathroom. You have to be chaperoned to the bathroom. And we're going to get into why this is hypocritical, but let's read this. So the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that's the long official term for Mormons. They call themselves the Latter-day Saints. LDS is the other term known for Mormonism. The LDS Church and Mormons are the same. So anyways, the LDS, known widely as the Mormon Church, issued a slew of new policies this week, expanding its restrictions on transgender members. The policies released Monday include rules barring trans people from working with children, becoming priests, and serving as teachers. The church also expanded on an existing rule that barred trans people from being baptized. So you can't be baptized, and you can't really become an official member of the church. Trans members will also face possible annotation on their membership records, grouping them with church goers who have committed incest. Oh, so they are going to do that. Grouping them with churchgoers who have committed incest, sexual predatory behavior, sexual violence against children, and embezzlement of church funds. Well, no, I go back. Perhaps the church isn't saying that outright, but when you look at their policy, it literally is the same parameters that they're defining for trans people as they are defining that for people who have committed atrocities against children, which is really hypocritical because the Mormon Church has put very little effort into tackling their own church leaders who are not trans, tackling those church leaders who are not trans, who are, PDF files. Yeah, Mark says, so they're grouping trans people with their clergy. Pretty much. But it's very hypocritical, right? It's like they put very little effort. Like there's so many bishops that like it's like, hey, we're not going to give a shit about Bob the bishop who's like molesting little boys, but hey, this person decided to transition, so we're going to look at them as the same. But if you're a cis person, you get a lot more leeway, you get a lot more wiggle room, and you get a better chance to go through a sort of redemption process with the church. But if you're trans, there's no leeway there. So anyways, the policies released Monday include rules barring trans people from working with children, becoming priests, and so trans members will also face possible So anyways, church leaders counsel against pursuing surgical, medical, or social transition away from one's biological sex at birth. And this is directly from the church's general handbook. And it says, leaders advise that taking these actions will result in some church membership restrictions. Isn't it a little odd to be a church that proclaims to love everybody and do unto others as they have done to them, to be Christ-like, and they're like, oh, we're going to have restrictions against people we don't understand? So anyways, those who do transition away from their biological sex at birth, the handbook notes, will not be completely turned away. Okay, so if you're trans and you transition socially or in any other way and you're a member of the church, you're not going to be completely turned away. And I've talked about this issue with the Mormon church before. And this is not exclusive. Like, the Mormon church isn't special. This is a lot of churches, right? So this is very relatable if you're just like a general Christian or something. Like, you know, like Mormons aren't that special. It just happens to be the church that I was raised in. So anyways, they will not be completely turned away. So it's like, hey, as a church, I'm going to accept you, but over there in the corner, and don't touch anything. Which, how welcoming is that? Like, how welcoming is it for somebody to be like, oh yeah, you can come over to my house, but don't use the bathroom? Wouldn't that seem weird? Wouldn't that be weird if you had a friend and they're inviting you to their house for the first time and they're like, hey, you can come over, but you can't use the bathroom? It's like, okay, I guess we'll meet somebody somewhere else. It's like, well, I'm not completely turning you away. It's just you can't sit on the furniture and you can't use the bathroom. You can't sit on my couch. You can't use the bathroom. It's like, okay, but then why am I coming over? Like, what's the fucking point? These individuals and their, quoted by the church, these individuals and their families are encouraged to counsel with their local leaders regarding the church participation. No, it says strictly bishops. I swear to God, it's like they say specifically bishop. It doesn't say church. Like, what does this one say? I'm sorry. I feel like they're leaders advise. Oh, wait, no. Counsel with their local leaders, which are bishops. Okay, local leaders are called bishops regarding church participation. So these individuals and their families are encouraged to counsel with their local leaders. If somebody in the family is transgender and they're thinking about transitioning, but they're also a Mormon and they don't know what to do, it is advised that they go to their bishop to seek counseling. Here's the problem with that, and it doesn't apply to like transgender people. It applies to anybody seeking counseling from their bishops. The bishops and the leaders of the churches, of the local churches, like your local bishop, does not have any sort of training and counseling whatsoever. None. We're talking about Bob the plumber, like John the handyman, like some guy who worked in real estate for 10 years, who's suddenly now going to counsel you on marriage and LGBTQ issues and deeply psychological issues. Like, suddenly you're going to get miraculous counseling from Bob who came over and fixes toilets. Like, really? Really? Because, like, my father was a church leader at some point. Not like a bishop, but I think like a first counselor, which is like a step below. Or was a second counselor? I can't. There's bishop, first counselor, and second counselor. So you got like three dudes that are the head of the church. He was one of the counselors. I think it might have been second counselor. But anyways, it's like that man has like a degree in biochemistry. What the fuck does he know about psychology or counseling or anything? Nothing. Unless a bishop particularly has taken classes in psychology and has gone through some sort of counseling program, I can assure you 99%, I don't know what percent I said before, but like 99% of Mormon church leaders and bishops have no counseling training. They have regular jobs, you know? Like I said, like they're lawyers or they're businessmen. They own businesses or they fucking sell cars, you know? Like, are you going to trust somebody to counsel you on serious issues if they only sell cars? Like, what fucking sense does that make? That's always been my biggest gripe about the church. Let's see. So the new rules. So this is, honestly, I gotta say, like, this has just been within the last week that the Mormon Church has come out with these new guidelines on transgender people. But I'm surprised this hasn't, I'm not surprised on what they are. I'm surprised this hasn't come out sooner. Especially with all, like, the massive amounts of anti-trans legislation. So let's see. The new rules, which were a part of a broader update to the church's okay, so the church generally updated their members' handbook on how to be a member of the church. And within that, it happened to include a portion on transgender people. So they didn't update their handbook purely because of trans people. They were updating it in general, and they're like, well, let's do that. But I'm still surprised they didn't do it sooner. Anyways, the church did not immediately respond to a request for comment about the new and expanded restrictions on trans members. Let's see, where do we go? Does this go to the thing? There's an LDS, there's a Mormon chat AI, like AI chat. There's a Mormon AI chat. I want to fuck with it. What is all this? This is a lot of reading. What do they say in their handbook? Because here it is. Understanding yourself. If you're transgender, first of all, you don't understand yourself. But Bob the mechanic does. What is the church's position on transitioning? Those who feel their inner sense of gender does not align with their biological sex as birth often face complex challenges, which you know nothing about. They and their family and friends should be treated with sensitivity, kindness, compassion, and Christ-like love. It is not Christ-like love to tell your church member who is transgender that they need to be chaperoned to the bathroom and that they can't be around children. How is that sensitivity? How is that kindness or compassion when you're treating your transgender members like they're freaking PDF files? How is that Christ-like love? Let's see. We're the individuals who do not pursue surgical... Yeah, okay. So individuals who don't pursue surgical or medical or social transitioning away from their biological sex may enjoy all the privileges of church membership. Okay, so never mind this being a religion, a Christ-like love and sensitivity and a people of kindness, compassion, and Christ-like love. Clearly, this is a membership with terms. So unless you, and it's honestly, it's also not unique. Like, the Mormons aren't special. Many churches say, like, hey, it's okay if you're gay. You can still be a member of our church as long as you don't act upon it. And this is the same homophobia recycled. And you'll see this with anti-trans language everywhere, that it is simply recycled homophobia. It's the same thing said about homosexuals, only they just replaced homosexual with the word trans. So it's like, yeah, you can enjoy, you can be a full member, you can get access to the VIP room and get the bottle service from the titty ladies, as long as you don't act upon all this shit. So let's see. Church leaders counsel against pursuing surgical, medical, and social transition away from one's biological sex at birth. Social transitioning means intentionally identifying and presenting oneself other than one's biological sex at birth, and may include changing dress, grooming, names, or pronouns. Leaders advise that taking these actions will result in some church membership restrictions. These restrictions include receiving or exercising the priesthood, receiving or using a temple recommend, and serving in some church callings. Members who have taken steps to transition and then transition back to their biological sex at birth are worthy. And okay, so detransitioners. Detransitioners may come back and receive the full blessings of God. Circumstances vary greatly from person to person and can change over time. Members who feel their inner sense of gender does not align with their biological sex at birth or who identify as transgender. You don't... Okay. The language. You don't identify as transgender. You either are or you're not. It's not an identity. Nobody chooses to be transgender. Anyways, as well as the parents or guardians of minors facing such circumstances are encouraged to seek counsel from their bishop. Bishop's counsel with the stake president. The stake president. Okay, so it's kind of like the bishop is the manager of the grocery store. And the stake president is the general manager of multiple stores within an area, if that makes sense. So bishops counsel with the stake president to address individual circumstances with sensitivity and Christ-like love. No, this is not sensitivity and this is not Christ-like love at all. You can sit and argue till the cows come home that you're being Christ-like and loving towards somebody by saying, hey, if you transition, we're going to watch you as you go to the bathroom, and you can't really do much within the church. Like, how is that fucking loving? I'm getting a little, personally riled up. It kind of pisses me off. Anyway, so the church didn't respond to a request for comment about the new restrictions. Taylor Petray, chair of the religion department of Kalamazoo College in Michigan and author of a forthcoming book about the intersection of sexuality and faith, queering kinship in the Mormon cosmos, said that the new challenges make the church much more restrictive and much less accommodating than there used to be space for. It's true. This is because the Mormon church really didn't have much to say about trans people before. Before, they were just like, hey, you should just talk to your bishop and your church leaders. But now they're coming out and saying, well, if you come out or transition in any way, you can't do this, you can't do that, don't touch this, stand over there in the corner, don't breathe. Let's see, Petray pointed out that the 2020 rule that restricted trans people from being baptized, the rule that only banned baptism for trans people if they had begun transitioning related medical treatment. However, so it was just medical. It wasn't social. However, that rule was expanded this week to also bar trans people from being baptized if they have socially transitioned, changed their name or appearance without undergoing gender-affirming health care. Let's see. What you see in this 2024 change is rolling back of some of those things or some concern that some local church leaders had taken things further than they expected back in 2020 when they put these new politics in, he said. The church will allow for exceptions to the limitations only if granted permission from its leadership. According to the handbook, it also states that restrictions on trans people can be reversed if they detransition. The new policies conflict with the church's more welcoming position to the LGBT community in recent years. Yeah, the Mormon church tried to say, oh, we're very progressive and we welcome gay people and trans people, but they really don't. Anyways, which followed backlash in the early 200s for its supporting for California's Proposition 8 ban on gay marriage. Yeah, because I think the church did surprisingly kind of not vote too hard against like banning gay marriage. So it seemed progressive at the time, but I think they took on more than they could handle. Anyways, while it still opposes same-sex marriage and consensual gay sex, the Mormon Church came out in favor of the Respect for Marriage Act in 2022, which enshrined protections for same-sex and interracial marriages into federal law. Well, that's probably why then. Probably because the Respect for Marriage Act also included interracial marriages among same-sex marriages. That's probably the motive why they supported that. They probably didn't give a shit about the gay part. Let's see, at the time the church said that it would support the legislation because it includes appropriate religious freedom protections while respecting the law and preserving the rights of our LGBTQ brothers and sisters. So whatever. In 2019, the church also issued a policy to allow children of same-sex couples to be baptized. Okay, yeah. If you're a gay couple and you have a kid who's straight and they decide to be Mormon and they decide to get baptized or married in the temple, you can't be a part of that as a gay parent. So, which is very hypocritical because Mormons like favor themselves as keeping families together. Families are together forever unless your parents are gay. In a broader section titled Individuals Who Identify as Transgender, the church handbook states that it does not take a position on people who feel their inner sense of gender does not, Well, we don't really take a stance on trans people until now. These individuals often face complex challenges, blah, 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 blah. Their family, they should be treated with Christ-like love, blah, blah, blah. The church has also struggled with how to thread the needle on these issues, holding fast to what they see as unchangeable elements of their teachings while trying to reach out and be inclusive of LGBTQ members, Petre said. And we're finding that those groups were still not quite able to meet in the middle here. Yeah. What? Oh, and a correction. A previous version of this article misstated the church policies regarding the members who transitioned away from their biological sex at birth. They will not be completely turned away. Oh, okay. Well, they will be completely turned away if they decide to transition away from their biological sex. Isn't that nice? Isn't that so Christ-like? Isn't that so loving and compassionate and sensitive of the church to do that for their transgender members? Now, like I said, obviously I'm an ex-Mormon. I don't like the church at all. But I do recognize that some people are still attached to it. And, they don't see any other life around that. So if a church member does find out they're transgender, my heart goes out to them because they're now going to face the challenge of their community that they love and know completely rejecting them while simultaneously saying that they love them at the same time. It's very gaslighting, very manipulative, very ugly, and just very psychotic, honestly. Like straight psychotic. Ugh. Let's see, what time is it? It's almost 8:30. We're like past 2 hours into here. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say on that. It kind of hits home with like being a ex-Mormon. And like I said many times, the Mormon church isn't special. They do things very similar to other Christian-based churches. So it's not like this is a specifically Mormon thing. But because I'm ex-Mormon and I have interest in what they're doing at the time, like I said, it's interesting that they are now just making these restrictions for trans members. I'm not surprised what they've done. I'm not surprised at their choosings of how to handle the situation. I'm just surprised at the timing. I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner. But, you know, fuck organized religion in that sense. Let's see. What else do we have left? I think we're ready to move on to our last subject of the night before we close up. And we're talking about Martin Shkreli. You remember this guy, the pharma bro? He did that thing. I can't remember what it was exactly. He took the price, I think, of, was it diabetes medication or was it medication for AIDS? But he took a medication that was originally affordable at like $13 or something and raised it to like a couple of $100, and then turned around and tried to state that it was good for business. He's just a rich punk, and I guess for some stupid reason, I don't know if you all know, there's like an old rap group called the Wu-Tang Clan. God, I'd never listened to Wu-Tang. Let's see. Wu-Tang Clan is an American hip-hop musical collective from Staten Island. Had a bunch of members, and they made some music, but there's an unreleased CD of this rap group that apparently Martin Shkreli owns the rights to, but recently he's being ordered by a judge to actually go ahead and release that. And he did it on purpose. Like, I remember back in the day when he's like, I bought the rights to like this last Wu-Tang CD, and because you all hate me because I'm so rich, like, I'm just, you know what, you think I'm a bad guy, then I'm going to be a bad guy. I'm not going to release this, but I'm rich enough to buy the rights to this music, which is so fucking like insane for like a white rich guy to like buy the rights to black made music, like. And then turn around and just like have complete ownership of that. It's like, I mean, it's like a white man owning black slaves. Like, it's kind of boiling down to that. Like, white man buys the rights to black. It's Lee's like story of our lives, right? The age-old story of the white boy having financial and social power over black people. Insane. He also has like the most punchable face in the world. Like, he just has this smirk. You know, guys like this, guys like this who have lots of money, like, and this is the same for Elon Musk too, because I think Elon Musk is like pretty much the same as Pharma Bro. To me, they're just sociopathic or psychotic or just like completely antisocial and incapable of feeling true compassion or empathy for others. Like that, like, I don't think they can cognitively like understand how like selfish and unable to be empathetic they are. I don't think it even enters their brain. It's like a strange form of narcissism. Like, I think it's really interesting how like super rich white guys, like, you know, like Trump and all, well, Trump's not super rich, but just powerful, you know, white men. It's like, it's always this, like, the CEOs and stuff, like, there's always this degree of just like psychopathy of just where they're unable to actually connect to other human beings, and they just treat human beings as like commodities. So anyways, Wu-Tang stuff. I guess he recently like started, yeah, because he did do prison time for that whole fiasco with the medication and stuff, the pharmaceutical situation. That's why we haven't heard from him for a while, but now he's back. There's this big long interview that's like an hour and 50 minutes. We're not listening to all that. There's these little segments that are like cut up. We'll listen to a couple of that and then call it night. So let's see. Martin Shkreli do that. Ooh, sorry. Beat. I'm just like disrespecting the microphone here. Let's see. Martin Shkreli doing 4.5 years in prison. Saw me or something. I don't know. Let's see. Buying the Wu-Tang. Okay, let's listen to this. Oh, let's just skip through this shit.
All right, here we go. Today we have the infamous Martin Shkreli. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Thank you for having me.
Even his name just screams walking penis. Like, just fucking, like, that is a jackass name. Like, this guy is a Martin Shkreli. What kind of fucking name is that? God, it's like you're a kitchen appliance from Temu.
Man, we've heard a lot about you over the years, but no one's ever really gotten your full story. So I want to start in the very, very beginning. So you were born and raised in Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
And your parents are Albanian immigrants.
Yes.
Okay. And they worked as janitors?
All kinds of jobs. You know, I think my dad was a superintendent. Mom did.
Oh my God, why is he so awkward? Let's speed this up a bit.
Sanitation janitorial work for a long time.
Ooh, too fast. I kind of want to go and listen to some Wu-Tang just because, you know, haven't been interested till now.
But dad did all kinds of stuff.
Okay. So you grew up working class, poor?
Somewhere in the middle of those two.
Somewhere in the middle. Okay.
I didn't realize it at the time, but
Yeah.
I thought we were, you know, I didn't think we were rich, but, you know, as a kid, you don't really understand money, you know?
Yeah.
The way his mannerisms are and like the way his body language is right now makes it seem like he's nervous about people figuring out that he's not a human. Like he's like an alien in a human costume and just like hoping that they're not going to figure out that he's not human.
What part of Brooklyn?
Sheepshead Bay, Midwood, Flatbush, that kind of
Okay.
area.
Okay. Now, you were raised Catholic,
Yes.
but you don't believe in God.
Oh boy, that's a tough one. Ever since my dad died, it's changed, right? You know, once you lose somebody close to you like that, you know, you start to wonder, and you start to hope too. So I don't know how I feel. You know, I think as a scientist, it's extremely unlikely.
Yeah.
But as a human, you hope it's true, and you kind of feel a little bit that it's true. You know.
You know, I interviewed Neil deGrasse Tyson not so long ago. We talked about it. He goes, well, I mean, from everything he's ever learned,
Now let's listen to pieces. I ain't listening to all this.
So then in May 2022, you get released from prison.
Yeah, great day.
How much time did you spend in prison at that point?
4.5.
4.5 years.
Not quite 85%.
Okay. Well, you got 7 years, 4.5. That's way less. That's like, what, maybe 65%, something like that?
That's more typical. The 85% is without halfway house. It's without this. It's without that.
Yeah. Did you go through anything really bad in prison?
No.
Was it like one of these country club prisons you were in? Or
Hell no.
Was it a real prison?
I was pretty upset because I wanted to go to one of those. Right?
Okay.
There's 4 levels of prison in the federal system. Penitentiary, USB. You don't want to go there. Then there's the medium, which is not great, but not horrible. Then
Yeah, because prisons typically do group their prisoners together by classification of offenses. So, like, if there's multiple floors, for example, I'm not saying this is how all prisons runs, but, like, for example, like the first floor would be all the lower level offenders. The second floor would be, you know, the first level would be like non-violent crimes. The second level would be like semi-violent, and then like you go all the way up and it's like 4th level, like actual like serial killers and stuff like that. So it's like I'm interested to see like where he kind of went.
there was the low, which is where I went. And then there's the camp. Camp's the good stuff.
So you were in the low. So basically everyone there had a release date.
10 years average.
Yeah, nobody there was trying to kill anyone.
Not really.
Okay. Were there any
I mean,
fights?
I saw one guy get killed, but yeah.
You saw a guy get killed?
Sure.
In front of you?
I mean, it was a hectic time. I saw him dying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so it still.
No, he didn't. Oh my god. Yo, no. Oh, come on. What? There was like a ruffle in the there was like a ruckus in the prison yard, and he saw like the very tail end of it, or he barely saw like what happened. Like, whatever, dude.
It'll go down.
It could pop off. Yeah.
Okay, you get released, and they give you 3 years of supervised release, which is essentially probation.
Yep.
You had to live in a halfway house.
They force everyone to do that now.
Yes. And you're actually banned from a bunch of stuff, right?
Oh yeah, you name it.
So you can no longer be a CEO of a publicly traded company.
Correct. In the U.S.
In the U.S., can you still invest in stocks?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what can't you do as well as?
Oh my God, the list goes on and on. It's such a ridiculous world. I think you have this world of hall monitors and nannies and like the people that grow up wanting to become lawyers. These people are just nerds that will take any, I don't know, I guess it's like repressed aggression out on people for this modest rule breaking. Again, we were talking about this earlier. Elon filed his form 9 days after his purchase of Twitter. He bought more than 5% of Twitter. As I said earlier, 48 hours. I followed the rules on that with Calabios and whatever. He didn't. Spent 9 days. The SEC wants to ban him from being a CEO. It's nonsense.
Well, didn't you violate probation after doing a Tucker Carlson interview?
You know, that wouldn't be my interpretation of the course of events, but you know, we hashed it out.
Okay.
But I wasn't violated. So violated means you
go back to prison.
Well, at least you go back in front of the judge.
Right.
And then maybe you go back in front of prison. So we were able to.
I was expecting this to be a little bit more Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what he did. It was the AIDS drug from $14 to like $750 for pills.
You get kicked out of your old company. You start touring pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Okay. And the strategy was to obtain licenses on out-of-patent medicines.
No.
No?
No. Where'd you read that? Wikipedia?
Yes.
Wikipedia.
You launched with 3 drugs, right?
Wikipedia's become shit.
Okay. So, but I mean, you launched with 3 drugs that was in development, that was acquired from Retrofin.
We had a couple drugs.
Right.
We're getting more.
So, but you weren't trying to get licenses for out-of-patent medicines? No, that's not a thing?
We did a lot of things. We created drugs from scratch. I'm a U.S. patent holder. I've invented medicine. A lot of people don't understand this. In the drug business, you can do a lot of ways to make money. You could take a drug from Europe and bring it to the U.S. You can invent a drug from scratch. It's very laborious, difficult, and expensive. You could partner with another company. You know, we did do one big deal that has overshadowed my entire career.
Daraprim.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys acquired Daraprim for $55 million.
I remember that, yeah.
Okay. And this was an AIDS-related drug.
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of. Okay, so there is this drug, and he bought the patent for it.
Okay.
Toxoplasmosis.
The patent had expired.
Yep.
But there was no generic version.
Correct.
So you guys put it out.
There's always, like, I don't know if you guys know about, like, medications, but, like, because it's, like, there's such a capitalistic element into them. And, you know, when capitalism gets involved with medication, it doesn't mean that the medications themselves don't do any good for people. It just means they're treated as a commodity. They're treated in a capitalistic sense. So you'll have, like, a name brand, like a company's name brand of a drug. And then you'll have the generic version of the drug. The generic version is the same drug, the same chemical composition. It's just not under a name brand. So it's like, you know, if you can't afford like a name brand version of an antidepressant, you can get the generic version. It's the same thing. It's just under something else. But this guy's talking about this medication for AIDS, to treat AIDS or to manage AIDS, and saying that there's no generic version of that. So he bought that patent for that, the whole name brand.
We bought the drug from another company and we raised the price.
From $13.50 a pill to $750 per pill overnight.
Yep.
People lost their shit.
Some people lost their shit.
Yes.
Not everyone.
Well, but it got to the point where
Some people lost their shit. Not everyone. Just the poor people. And that's what they get for being poor.
you actually had to testify in Congress and stuff like that over it.
I think most people, I honestly don't think most people gave a shit. I think that most people...
Are you kidding? You don't think most people gave a shit? Really? I've never, I remember that time. I have never seen so many people express wanting to punch somebody in the face since the freaking George Floyd Black Lives Matter movement with punching Nazis in the face. I have not, before then, it was him. The rate and wanting and desire to punch somebody in the face went from him, that died down, and then it was Nazis.
If you saw the news, you kind of saw the story. And the people that cared the most, I found, were actually reporters who were outraged for whatever reason, and kind of contrived this narrative more than actually thinking about it. And I think that's what the news has become. It's become a polemical, kind of canvas for reporters who are often,
Okay, but I like how he's kind of evading the point and just talking about how the media is portraying his decision instead of directly talking about his decision himself.
They have a idea of what the world should look like, and they're trying to refract everything that comes in through that lens. And I was okay, here's why capitalism is bad. Look at this guy. And it was okay, but do you know anything about pharmaceuticals? Do you know anything about any of this stuff? Do you want to engage on...
An appeal to this is a fallacy of appeal to authority on a topic that you think you know more about. It's well, I bought the pharmaceuticals, so surely I know most about it. And people don't really understand it. And that's why I think they got mad. But even the people that did get mad, there really wasn't that many. He is gaslighting this shit so fucking hard right now. This is hardcore gaslighting.
The facts, or do you want to paint your story?
Right, because there's more to this story, and I've watched some of your interviews. So basically, the way you broke it down is that, yeah, you did raise it to $750 per pill, and the insurance was okay with covering that, and people who didn't have insurance, you guys gave them the pills for free.
Yeah, of course.
So no one really...
Did they, though? Did they? Did they?
Went without the pills.
I'd rather not make $1, and I actually never made $1 off that deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And never took a salary at Turing, so I didn't make a penny from that. And the company never paid, fat dividend or anything, so never got anything from that. And it was just...
And see, this is where I have suspicion, because it's I want to know, what do you mean? So you raised the pill from $1,350 to $750. Insurance covers that. What insurance? Which insurances? Thank you, Heretical Response, because that's exactly where my mind was going next. So Heretical Response says, no, they didn't. People on Medicaid couldn't get the drug. And that's where my mind was going next. I'm what do you mean insurance covers it? You mean private insurance? Private insurance covers it? Because I bet you bottom dollar that regular Medicaid didn't cover it, and there's no generic version, so it doesn't work for everybody.
A shitty deal, but yeah, I mean, no person on planet Earth is that evil that they'd rather make money.
Yes, you are. You're telling on yourself right now. You're literally telling on yourself in the moment.
Than let somebody live or die. I think that's just not the case. And by the way, one of the things the media forgot to mention.
No, because this is what I'm talking about with this trope of this rich white guy, and before how I was describing these people, it's just kind of sociopathic. They have an inability to empathize with other people. So to them, sure, he could say just for appearance sakes or impression sakes, no, of course I don't I don't want people to die. But like business wise, it's like, okay, well, if I make this choice, I'm going to make maybe not a lot of money, but like I'm going to make some movement this way. But people are still going to suffer from this and as a result die. But the percentage of that is going to be much smaller than the people that actually succeed off of this or are able to access this. And I'm going to get a benefit of that. So I don't believe him when he says, actually, I don't make $1 off of this deal at all. Bullshit. Because like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to sit here and be like, well, if you bought a patent to a drug and there is no generic version of it, surely you would allow a generic version to be released by releasing that patent information to other companies or somebody else and actually helping people. You know, if the patent was expired and you're buying it, why would you make it more accessible to like private insurance companies than you would like to Medicaid or actually allowing generic versions to be made? This doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't believe him. It's like he's convinced himself really hard that he did a good deed, and it's not convincing. And it like no matter like you'd almost have to be a fucking idiot to nod your head and be like, yeah, you know, like he was just trying to do his best, and he's just a victim here. We should feel bad.
And it's in the documents. There's another drug that treats this disease that's 10 cents.
Aha.
And if you look at our documents, which are like, you know, they've been in lawsuits and stuff like that, so they're available, we were deathly afraid, Vlad, that people would use that drug. It's called trimethoprim. It's also called Bactrim. You've probably taken it. It's just like a generic antibiotic. It treats UTIs, treats all kinds of stuff. So it's very commonly used. Bactrim has been proven to be as effective as Daraprim. But if you're a reporter, well, that makes him look less bad. Because now people can just say, hey,
But you don't have any affiliation with that other drug. So what sense does that make? Well, I'm going to hike this drug up, but hey, there's this other one available out there, but we don't know anything about that. And like, how does that help your situation?
If the reporters actually had the public in mind, they would say, attention, everyone, this man is trying to raise the price of this drug. You should take this other drug. Everything will be fine. Not interested. That's not front page news.
I mean, people start calling you Pharma Bro around this.
Okay. So in his mind, everybody should have just like taken the other drug if they couldn't afford his drug. That's still a shitty attitude to have. Well, if you can't afford what I got, you should take this other one. I get it works just fine. Okay, but again, I need more detailed information on the actual medications themselves. I can't take him at face value. I don't know that.
I never understood why that was an insult. I think there was this weird left-wing part of the media, which is now a shadow itself. It's basically imploded, and guys like you have become the media in a lot of ways. Yeah. That the Gawker, this like Vice, these people, they hated, and I hate to say this because I really don't want to make this about politics, but they basically hated masculinity. They hated wealth and capitalism. They hated...
Okay, we're leaving. Really? He's going to go on about the woke mind virus?
The alpha male. And, they would do everything.
There's no such thing as the alpha male.
Everything they could to take those people a peg down. And the tech bro was archetypical white, successful, privileged male that maybe got wealth from their parents or education into a certain place.
Yes, okay, so you understand.
I went to City College. I'm Albanian, from immigrants. I'm not a tech bro or frat. And tech bro is an ad hominem against the frat bro, who then ends up in technology making way too much money and is clueless. I'm not clueless. I think that's clear. And,
okay, he's coping. He's coping right now. He's coping so hard. Like, he's offended. Like, he doesn't like that. He is coping so far. He's literally blaming it on the woke, quote-unquote, woke mind virus, why people are portraying him this way. Like, he just, like, so coping. I'm actually smart. I do things. I'm not mean. I care about people. I don't want people to die. Like, this is like 6 minutes of cope.
It was just a funny ad hominem that bore no were nothing in reality. And the reason it happened, Vlad, was kind of interesting. I had shorted the stock. We made $20 million on this trade, all for me, my personal money. And the stock was going down. And at the time, Flo Rida had a song called It's Going Down, or I forgot what it was, but there's a line where he says that. And so I took a photo for my friends. It was meant for like 5 people. And I did a pop collar. I had Flo Rida in the back, and I had like a gaudy watch, and I was like making a It's Going Down kind of hand signal. And that was my Twitter profile when this story came out. And so everyone said, oh, look at this guy. He's tech bro, frat bro. And, you know, the reality is I'm a nerd, not a tech bro or frat bro or farmer bro. But it's stuck, and I like the name now at this point.
Wow. 6 solid minutes of coping by Martin Shkreli. Great. He's such a tool. He is a tool. What an idiot. He just totally told on himself, too. He's like, oh, the archetypal tech bro, but I'm a pharma bro. It's like a rich white guy that doesn't care about people. That's exactly what you are. You don't have to be into woke mind virus shit to fucking see that. He's a cis twink. All right, people. I gotta get going. It's 9 o'clock. I gotta rest. I gotta go to bed early so I can wake up early because tomorrow I think is going to be another solid 8-hour day, if not more, of homework. Tomorrow I'm pretty much well caught up with my homework. I got to do mostly statistical mathematics tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be like a full day of statistical mathematics and possibly English. We're starting to come up with ideas for essays, and I need to pick like a corporation to talk about. Like, you know, like how, like, for example, like something like Stanley Cup and like why it was so popularized and became viral at one point, like shit like that. But as I go along with my homework, I'll share what my projects are with you guys. I'll share my homework projects and stuff and let you know what I'm learning, because learning is fun and I want to be better. So anyways, take care, everybody. I am going to semi-plan on game streaming on Friday. I think that should be, that'll happen. There might be a small chance that it won't, and maybe if I'm just like too wrecked with homework or stuff, but I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be able to live stream on Friday, and it'll just be playing probably just an hour or 2 of video games. So anyways, thank you so much to the beautiful moderators, Cassie, Susan. I saw Susan came in here. Good to see you, Susan. Cassie and Mark. And thank you. Ooh, sorry, I'm burping. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out tonight and supporting me. Yeah, so gotta get going. Gotta get some rest so I can wake up and study. Study my statistical mathematics. Good night, Macrimonious. Good night, everybody. Good night, Heretical Response. Let's see. Who else? Liz Leaf. Good to see you. Good night. And I'm scrolling up. Brent and more people. Jackie, good to see you. Have a good night. Scrolling up. I said Macrimonious. Who else? Some person who says, what is this science I've walked into? I don't know. Buddy Friendo, good to see you. Brianne, thank you. Spectral Chord, Specs, everybody who came tonight, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. Have a good night, everybody. We shall see you when we see you. Take care. All right. Take care. Love you. Thank you for supporting.